Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Thursday, December 1st, 2022. I'm Brian, and this is the Managed Comics Thoughtstream. So, this week we're going to do a 2022 year in review. We're going to look at everything that happened in 2022, and we're going to take a look at some preview stuff for 2023. So, yeah, as always, let me know you're here. It's always great to hear you guys. And we'll kind of get to it right away, I think. You may hear some weird noise over in the side. My dog is, I left the door open and she's decided to rummage around. Alrighty, so as always, you can find us on YouTube, like us on Facebook. We've just launched a Facebook group and a Discord server, so you can find those at info.managedcomics.com/community. We've got Julian here from BD Cosmos, and we've got Danica from Variant Edition. Danica, how you feeling? You were a COVID victim. Or were you just a cold victim? It may have just been a cold. I was kind of unsure, but either way, I hope you're feeling better. I saw that Brandon's a little under the weather. Hopefully, he's feeling a little bit better too. All right, moving along. Follow us on Instagram. And I want to get right into a couple things that went wrong this month and kind of what we're doing to fix those things. So catalogs were updated in the wrong order this month. It was kind of because I was in a rush because I went on vacation so I just got back on Saturday. So I was on vacation like a week there. And yeah, we did the uploads, but we did them in the wrong order. Normally we do Diamond first, then Lunar, then Penguin Random House. It looks like Penguin Random House happened first. And what that ended up doing was creating a whole bunch of products that didn't have some required information. And we ended up fixing all the problems on Sunday/Monday. Taras and I are going to kind of give this a little bit of a deeper look so that it doesn't depend so much on which order we upload them, but in the future, we know not to do that. Danica says it's just the cold that's going around. Eey, that sucks. Hate to hear that. Hey, Big Ben's Comics Oasis. I think this is Jeff probably doing a listening watching combo. Our biggest outage yet happened on Friday night when I was actually in Cuba last week. And what ended up happening was I didn't have internet that night and we had an outage, and I got a error report around probably 10 o'clock. And unfortunately, nobody saw it, including me. I saw it at 6 a.m. the next morning, and I started frantically contacting people in Canada to get somebody to get me to get the server back up and running. It's not really funny, and it sucks that it happened and that it was out for as long as it was. But that made me re-examine everything about the way that we handle outages and the way that we monitor the servers. So on Monday, I set up server monitoring for all three of our products. So Classic, 2.0, and GeekFetch. And the real problem is we did have monitoring software before, but it was on EC2. One of their servers was on EC2. And I think I think it was an EC2 outage, not just us. So EC2 is like Amazon's server cloud. So I think everything kind of hiccuped, and that caused our notifications not to come to me. And so we have got it on a different system now. So it won't be affected when there's an outage on EC2. We also get notifications through Slack, email, and text. So one of us will find out about them before you guys do, hopefully. And I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but we know about like errors. If you're getting an error from the system, we usually know about it before you do because we get log information that goes to our Slack channel. So you'll find we often will email you and say, hey, we noticed that this is going on. It's a lot of it is usually setup. So people will hit the setup, and if there's something weird about their theme, we'll get an alert. So that happens quite a bit. When the POS order helper was brand new, we were getting a few of those. So we definitely watch those and respond to them. So just to let you know about that. But let's jump into a little bit of 2022 in a review. How's that sound? So I basically broke things down by quarter, and I looked at like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and then the last quarter, which was October, November, and into December. But I mean, it's been a great year for us overall. We've seen slow and steady growth in 2022. It's funny when you see like January or December last year, we had 46 new users. I think in the very beginning, we had a lot of looky-loos who checked it out, took a quick look, and decided it wasn't for them, which is fine. That's why we have a 10-day trial. I think we also had a lot of folks that were creating stores that were like demo stores so they could test things out for a couple months, because you'll see a big spike here in February, which is also when we ran I think that's when we ran that Ian promotion. For those of you who know about our intern Ian, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple seconds. But yeah, we've seen, probably 5 to 10 stores a month, every single month. And this last month has been probably our biggest one yet. I think we're at 12 new stores between November and like end of October, beginning of December. So yeah, I think we're at 120, 118 or something like that this morning, which is great. I think we peaked at 160 on 1.0. So we're in the right direction. This is going a lot faster than it did when we launched 1.0. And yeah, things are growing the right way. So we've seen a 539% year over year growth. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And what we're also seeing is it's sustainable. So if we had a massive spike of 50 stores every month, I think it would be tough for us to keep up from a server point of view. We keep on just expanding the servers and doing enhancements. And that's one of the projects that I'll talk about a little bit later when we get to the 2023 stuff. So this is the current team. Temporary picture of Natalia, because I don't have an actual photo of her to go off of. You know me, Brian, founder and president, been here since 2015 and even before. Craig's our marketing guru, so he helps me come up with some of the crazy marketing ideas. Some of them great, some of them not so great. Ian. Ivan is our data and customer service guy. He started with us in February/March. Taras, of course, is our chief code elf. He's been around since the very beginning, as has Kirill. Kirill has moved on and is now doing special projects. He's got a fancy new job at Facebook, and he's also still working with us, but he's kind of exclusively working on a couple of big projects that we'll talk about, and they're kind of key. But his wife, Natalia, has come along as a developer, and she's currently working on a couple things we'll talk about. And she was really instrumental in getting the draft order or POS order helper kind of over the line. So she's been working with us for a little while, and now she's coming on full time starting in December. So January, February, March saw some pretty big changes. We changed the front end so that variant covers show the ratio limits, which would be like they'll show the actual like 1 in 50, 1 in 100, and we made it consistent. So we use a ratio number and show it the same way, because each company was showing it slightly different. Unfortunately, that means sometimes we get redundant information, like it'll say, Marvel cover or whatever, 1 in 100. And then after that, it says -1 in 100 variant. But by and large, it just means that like when you see 1:50, it'll say 1 in 50 variant. So it makes it a lot easier for the front end for customers to understand. We did some quick improvements on the pulls report, which was a CSV report. We still have that. A lot of people like it, so we did some quick little improvements to make it a little bit better. We overhauled customer lists to handle large customer lists. What we found is customer lists that were over like 150 were super slow on the customers page. We also busted out the all subscription page, which shows you all the titles. So we didn't have that before, like kind of early February. We also introduced cloning subscriptions so that you can clone subscribers into a title. At some point, I want to get in there and clone, so you can clone subscribers from an existing title into a new title. At some point, I want to get into there and tweak it so that you can clone subscribers to a different title. So you'd be able to go into Amazing Spider-Man and say, move all the Superman, right? There's a new Superman coming out in January, February. We want to be able to clone all of the Superman 2016 customers into Superman 2023. We refactored our entire database to better handle multi-distributor systems because PRH looks like it will probably become the system of record in the future. They're still missing a few key pieces, which include issue sequence number, and there's a couple more that if we let them be the first file that we upload, it kind of breaks things. So they are adding issue sequence number soon, but we've also kind of figured out a way to parse that out of the UPC, which we'll be doing a lot more of in the coming months. So yeah, that's something that's happening. And then we changed Manage Comics so that instead of it being embedded inside of Shopify, it opens in its new window, which means that you can right click on things and go to different pages and go back and forth. Personally, that's how I work with my workflow. I'll have different pages kind of open. So yeah, you have that ability now. In March, we added Ivan. So Ivan started working with us. I think he's around right now. Ivan, pop in and say hi. He's a former comic store manager in St. Louis, Missouri. He managed to find bugs for us quite frequently as a customer. He also did an early conversion from 1.0 to 2.0 and helped us find a lot of the kind of failings there. And he really understood our data issues. So having Ivan around was definitely a good move for us. And he's been a huge asset to the team. And I like working with him. He's a good dude. We also, in April, we launched the email campaigns feature, including the ability to clone campaigns from old campaigns to new ones. I would love to have time to get in here and really tweak some things around here. I'd like to add the ability to create kind of merge tags so that you would have tags that you could use to date would be an example, right? Like if you want a date to date from, we would just have like date to date and you'd put that in. Bunch of little things I'd love to get in here and do, but this is a great first step, and I'm really happy with how emails work, and it seems to be one of our more popular features in the system. This is where we also changed subscribing to only the A and B covers. There was a lot of problems with C's, D's, and E's being ratio covers, and then customers wouldn't get a cover one month, which would mean they wouldn't get a comic. So we changed that to A and B's because those tend to not be ratios. We revamped the catalogs in the initial order so that you could have all of the titles instead of just the ones that had orders for them. And then we added shelf quantities and those kind of things, as well as all the filters that are now in the initial orders. We added Penguin Random House pre-delivery report check-ins and the ability to download pre-orders as a CSV. So that was a lot of kind of fairly big things that, when you write them down, they don't look as huge as they are, but I assure you they were huge. In July, August, and September, it was a little bit slow, but we did work on a bunch of kind of back-end things. Series titles was one of the things we worked on. So kind of hard to see with this image, but Action Comics there says brackets 1938 because it's the original Action Comics series code. Yeah, you can kind of see how the series names got created. And we also kind of manually intervene on these things too and change them quite a bit. We started working on the storyline data. So we've started tracking storylines. We've been doing that since I think about August. And we fixed a bunch of data for Penguin Random House around the same time. In October, obviously, we launched the order helper at the kind of tail end of November. We also added the ability to edit and repush a previously declined offer. So if you declined or a customer declined an order, you can actually reopen it. We also finally do not repull comics if there's been a replenishment. So there was a bit of a misunderstanding on how that worked. If you got copies in for a title that had pulls left over on it, it wouldn't repull for people that had already gotten the item. But if you got if you got a replenishment in on something that had initial orders on it, it would kind of repull that item. So we fixed that logic so that it works properly. And yeah, you can get to the order helper at managedcomics.com/order helper. Which brings us to our sponsor. So let's have a little word from our sponsor.
The Managed Comics Order Helper makes point-of-sale checkout a breeze. You can get to the app in one tap once you've added the app title to your point of sale. From there, you'll find any Managed Comics orders through our browse or search options. Clicking on the customer order will let you select the items you want to bring into the POS cart. The cart is created with all items and their individual discounts exactly as they appear in Managed Comics. You can check out some or all of the items. Any items removed from the cart will go back into the Managed Comics order. We think it's all super easy to use, but if you have any issues, you can always visit our support knowledge base or ask us a question and we'll get back to you quickly. Managed Comics Order Helper makes subscription checkouts accurate, quick, and easy.
I didn't realize that it would just turn off when it was done. So the order helper, if you're not already using it, give it a shot. If you're using the Shopify point of sale, you'll find it just speeds everything up. And we've done a couple little fixes. And we've got a couple more to go. Up next. So yeah, we listened to you guys. Your answers help to shape our development and change what it is we do. Big Ben's Comics Oasis says, I've not played with the order helper. Can you cancel a subscription from an order helper? So you can remove a title that's in a cart, but you can't cancel it from the order helper. You can cancel it from the actual point of sale. You know what? Before we leave today, I'll pull up my trusty iPad and I'll show you how to do that, Jeff, because that's actually in Managed Comics, and there's now a Managed Comics app that is part of the point of sale, and you can actually, that's with the standard Managed Comics app, point of sale. So I can show you how that works as well. And you know what? If you just give me a second here, let's just jump right into that. It's one of the beautiful things about how interactive this Thoughtstream is. Let me just see if I can. So guys, just bear with me. I know this isn't the most exciting thing in the world. Just have to change the screen I'm sharing. And now I have to change this guy here. Share screen, and I'm going to share the window. movie recording. Okay, so this is my point of sale. I'll just hide Big Ben's question. That is Jeff, right? Just out of curiosity. So one of the things you can do, click on home and then settings. Nope, sorry, that's wrong. How do I get this? How do I get rid of home? You actually want to click add tile on the front of the point of sale and go to app, and you'll see the Manage Comics 2 subscription app. So that is actually a quick link right into Manage Comics. So from there, you can actually edit your customers' lists and everything. So if they want to cancel a subscription, like you just search for Cassian Andor and go in there and say, he doesn't want Agent of World anymore, so you delete it. So that would be how I would remove an existing subscription. Great questions, by the way. Can you combine other items in a Shopify cart along with subscriptions in the order helper? Yeah, absolutely. So what's cool about the order helper is, let me just clear this cart, pop into the order helper. So it's just really a listing of Managed Comics orders that are there. So I can go ahead and take Jason Todd's order here and add those items. He's only got the one, Iron Man. So I'll add that to the cart. Now that is changing the product in the back end from a subscription product to a regular product. And then, yeah, I can add other items. So I can add, man, did I lose my, oh, right, of course. So yeah, I can just add another item. I can just go through and add, whatever. If I had my scanner working right now, I could go through and add, Dark Crisis. There we go. So yeah, absolutely, you can combine things. Now, let's say that he removes Dark Crisis, Dark Knights of Steel. If I want to remove that from my order, that's not going to go back into a subscription box because it's not a subscription product. Now, if I remove Iron Man from there, it will go back into a subscription box. So that's how it works. Cryptid Cove asks, looking forward to the order helper soon. I know it's still early for both the app and Shopify hardware, but I wonder if anyone's tried the Shopify's new POS Go. That's like the small one that kind of looks almost like an iPhone. Yeah, I don't know about that one. It seems like it's more built for, like pop-up shops. They haven't really jumped into the whole Square kind of point of sale business the way Square got really, really deep into it. Hopefully Shopify will build some cooler hardware. I think the Square one is based off of Android OS. And I know Shopify does have an Android version of their app that will work. So yeah, I haven't actually seen it. If anybody has used the Shopify POS Go, let us know. Yeah, so that's kind of how the order helper works. And we'll definitely, we can go deeper into that. Yeah, Lemon Juice McGee, really wish it. You know what? I talked to them probably 2 years ago, and they said there was some development on that, but I don't know what's happened to it since then. I agree. I wish it worked really, really well. Jason Sizemore of Not Just Gaming said, I haven't used PS Go, but I've used Shopify on my Android phone at conventions. That's cool. Getting back to so we took our survey results and it really impacted our backlog, and we're currently grooming it and figuring out what things we're going to work on next. Obviously, the initial FOC information is what we're working on right now. But kind of going down the list, things get a little weird after that. There's some things we have to work on because they open us up to more markets, and also because we've got Managed Comics Classic customers that I need to get onto the new system. Multi-store is a good example. We have probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 stores from Classic that I need multi-store in order to get them over. Binder Pause transfers, even though it was relatively low ranked, this opens us up to 650 stores that use Binder Pause. So I definitely want to get that one ranked a little bit higher. And Canadian, international, UK pricing, frankly, we just have to do it because it sucks for international customers. And they're kind of underrepresented in this survey. I think the survey answers came back from like 6 or 7 international, and we got 50% of them said that it was kind of important to them in some way. So yeah, we'll definitely be working on that. But we want to balance that out with the things that you guys really, really want. And keeping in mind too that some of these things are super low effort. More printable pull report is quite a ways down on here. Super easy to do. So I've already got something that's in QA, kind of hoping to get it through in the next week. It took me like less than an hour to do something that I hope will make things much better for you guys. Things we do just because we have to. So one of the big architecture projects for 2023 will be to rebuild our server architecture. We're going to build everything into kind of isolated containers that we can scale a lot quicker. Right now, everything is a little more monolithic, so we're going to break it down a little bit. It's not really something that you guys will directly see anything from. What you will notice, though, is that things will just be faster. And I know things are pretty fast now, but like a lot of the front end rendering is taking way too long for my liking. The only way for us to solve that is to kind of containerize that partition of that particular part of the app and give it a lot more resources. We're doing reserved item management, which a lot of people complain about the fact that we create 2 products for every subscription product. Shopify doesn't have the concept of reserving a product, so we definitely have to create that. So we're creating that. That's actually one of the special projects Kirill's working on, and we'll integrate that into our app and then create a separate app for the rest of the world that doesn't use Managed Comics, specifically for that, because it's a huge request. Danica says, will subscriptions paid? Yeah, that's one of the big problems is we're overloading all of our servers right now. So we need to, that's why we're doing this whole architecture rebuild. And finally, we'll be doing more improvements to the POS order helper, even though those questions really didn't get asked in our survey. So what are we working on? Well, right now, we've created a notifications thing. Selfishly, it's to let everybody know about the Managed Comics order helper. One of the things we found out from the survey is that only about 23% of the people that we send emails to read those emails ever. So this is a way to let everyone else know about the order helper. And it will also give us the ability to do change logs announcements right in the app, and eventually system updates for like failed imports. So if you do your import and products don't get created by Shopify because you've run out of your Shopify daily limit, we'll be able to give you a notification. And I'm hoping at some point a button to repush it, although we do multiple repushes a day. This is currently in QA review, and I'm hoping to get this up kind of early next week. Order history is in development right now. It's phase 1 of our initial FOC revamp. It's the most requested feature. It'll allow you to call up previous orders, previous products by publisher. It won't integrate into FOCs and initial orders right now, but in the future, we're definitely gonna like integrate all this information together in one. I wanted to do this quickly to get you guys this information quickly because I know that with the order helper, it's kind of changing some of your workflows. So the first thing was like, okay, what can we do in like 2 weeks worth of work? And we found out that it's really, really hard. Shopify has API limitations, which means we can make one request to the server a second. So when we're requesting like 100,000 products and their sales history, like each one of these requests is 3 separate requests because we have to ask about the product, about its quantity, anyway, there's a couple other things. What we're finding is it was like 300,000 seconds, which I don't know what that is in hours, but it's multiple days. So we're basically going to do that once, and then we're going to keep track of everything because we can do real time inventory changes. So we'll be keeping track of inventory going forward after we do that initial pull, and we're going to have to figure out how we stagger that across 100 and some odd stores as well. But that's fun. So yeah, that's in development. I've been told it's the hardest thing we've ever done. So yeah, yes. A quick fix. I want to group all the one shots. It's mostly a data problem. Right now, each one of these things doesn't have a series code. What's interesting is in the UPC data, there's kind of quasi series code information. So we're just going to parse that out and use that to create one Noctera that has all the different covers on it, instead of making people pre-order each of the individual things. This will also mean that people don't pre-order one-shots. They can just order a one-shot. So I'm just finalizing the BA on that, the business analysis, before we start development on it. It's like a super fast, like 1 or 2 day project too. Oh, I didn't update the slide for this one. So storylines are on deck. So it's more the front end of storylines, both on the admin side and on the customer side. And I'm hoping to get that. It's not currently in development. It's in BA. I'm hoping to get that worked on kind of as our next project. Once we do storylines, that will give us the ability to inherit clone one-shots, which will be the same kind of concept as cloning a series. Good example is if somebody is already getting Dark Crisis and you want to clone them into Dark Crisis Big Bang, you'll be able to do that. So yeah, our prerequisites for that are grouped one-shots and storylines, and I've just got to kind of finalize investigating it. Christina says, thank you so much for your availability and responsiveness to problems and ideas. I maintain that this is as much your project as it is mine. You guys know a lot more about the day-to-day. And so, yeah, I rely on you guys to make the best product we can. Yeah, so we'll also be choosing a different variant cover, which means that if somebody subscribed to an A, they'll be able to just kind of slipstream in the L cover for one issue. Regular FOC rules will still apply. For ratioed variants, if they want to slipstream in a ratioed variant, they'll have to have an approval process for that. But this gets us a pretty cool feature. We'll be working on multi-store to allow customers to choose their home location, create reports for initial orders and FOCs, inventory management by location. It touches literally every piece of the Managed Comics code. So it's going to be a bigger one that requires a ton of BA, and I may actually have to outsource the BA on this because it's such a big job. It also requires the inventory reservation kind of special project. We're also going to be working on better UK, Canadian, international pricing. We want to show a price matrix which will create a smart matrix that adds new pricing as it appears. And that's on deck for final BA. And the special projects we're working on. So we're working on a couple of bigger Shopify projects that benefit not just the managed comic space, but everyone. We're taking the same thinking that created the managed comics POS order helper, and we're extending that to a full Shopify draft order thing. We're actually done this, but we've got to do some serious testing, and we actually want to use this as a test case for our containerized network, like data infrastructure. So this will be the first thing that we kind of roll out a little bit separately from a separate architecture to manage comics. Yeah, there are existing apps that do this, but they seem to have poor maintenance. And every time that Shopify makes a change, they don't get updated and they break. So this will just be part of our process to fix everything. And since it relies on a lot of the same stuff that we already do for the order helper, it'll just be ingrained in us to update them. Product reservation is the other one that we're creating to allow for layaway with reserve status. We'll quickly be able to move a product from reserve to live and vice versa. So what I mean by that is, like, instead of having 10 copies of Detective Comics, 10 64, and 10 subscription copies, you'll have 20 copies with 10 of them reserved. And you'll be able to quickly move those reserved items over to regular and back and forth. We're going to build this as a separate app, and then we're going to integrate the stuff that we've done for that into Managed Comics. So you guys won't have to have a separate app for this, but we want to be able to sell that to kind of the larger world. So a good example is bike shops that do a lot of kind of product reservation, where they'll have 200 units of a product, but they're going to take 50 of them and lay them away for people that pay by installment. There's no way to do that with Shopify. You have to pay for everything or nothing. So this will allow them to do that kind of stuff. Pre-order prepayment is another big project. I'm not sure if we'll build that also as a separate item or not. There's a lot of prepayment products out there, but what I'd like to do is actually integrate that work into Managed Comics. There's just so much accounting stuff that we have to do with that. Allowing deposits on pre-orders, selecting a threshold to add the deposit to. So you don't want to have pre-order deposits on $4 books, but you do on, $50 books. Tracking the deposits, applying deposit balances when the product arrives, refunding procedures if a product gets canceled, notifying you that a product's been canceled. So much work. So for sure, this one's a big one. So yeah, that's kind of our next year in a nutshell. We would use that app. Staff drives me nuts putting stuff on hold. Yeah, I know. Oh, that's the best. You know what you mean? That would really help. I think that's Jeff, actually, from Big Ben. I don't even know if there is a Ben at Big Ben's Comics Oasis, to be honest. Anybody have any questions for me? I know this takes a couple seconds for it to get out to you guys. So yeah, if you have questions, maybe you got a question about my lovely tan or my, don't know if you can see it, the sunglass tan line, because I was out on Thursday before we came back and got a super bad sunglass tan line. It looks like, oh man. Just one second. I'm going to pop through the, I think I left some of my old questions in here. Yeah, I did. Jason says, you guys are the best. Please don't sell it to eBay or TCG Player. I'll try not to. Jason, are you guys with Binder Paws? I think you are, because I seem to remember Not Just Gaming comes up in my list of stores that, oh, you were considered leaving them, I think. Um, yeah, that's I'm hoping that we can get that resolved with Binder Pause sooner than later. Their solution for us is that we could re-architect all of our solutions so that we would copy a product and then basically stomp over the copied product, and then I guess you get around the limitation that way. I'm worried that one, we build that thing and it wouldn't work, or two, we build it and then Shopify realizes what we're doing and then shuts that like hole down. The right way to do it is for Binder Pause to, and I know they're moving this way, to kind of move into a direction of the way that Managed Comics does the catalog stuff. We have 450,000 items, but we don't add all 450,000 items to your store because it would cripple your store. Christina asks, what's the order helper? So that's the Managed Comics POS order helper. It's specifically for the Shopify point of sale. I did a little video about it earlier today, and we showed it. I can show it real quick. Oh no, I don't even know my. So it's this little guy here that literally just pulls up orders from Managed Comics so that you can add them to your orders and do checkouts on the point of sale. Yeah, if we don't have any other questions, vote on features, review the roadmap. I think I just updated the roadmap with what we're working on. I'm not sure if I've added all the items that we're working on, and I know I've got a bunch of stuff that I've got to add to kind of the backlog. It's funny too, because the backlog may have items that have been voted on for more or less than what the survey has, but I'm treating the survey as kind of the thing that we're going to go off of for the next little while. So, yeah, it's definitely our, what's the word I'm looking for? Prioritized backlog right now. Well, I think that may about do it for this final Thoughtstream of 2022. We will likely send out a couple little videos over the holidays, but in the meantime and in between times, have a great holiday season. I hope you guys sell tons and tons of stuff, and I'm so excited about 2023 and beyond. We're in such a good shape, and we're like so much further ahead than where we were at this time last year, when I was terrified that everything was going to fall apart. But now it's like everything is moving in the right direction, and we're seeing like awesome improvements every month. And we're getting to work on the cool features that I've always wanted to do. So things like storylines, things like cloning, really enhancing the system both for customers and for you guys, so that you can sell more comics and not have to worry about technology getting in your way. Well, thanks, guys. Christina Strong says thank you. Danica says thank you for everything you've done this year. It's been my pleasure, and I'm seriously looking forward to 2023 and beyond. So that's going to be it for us this month. Thanks a lot, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.